Powerlifting is a sport composed by three main disciplines called lifts. They are, in order, squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. Each athlete has 3 attempts with 1 minute per attempt to start the lift. There are 3 referees, and each of them give a white light in case of a good lift and a red light in case of a no lift.
The athletes are separated per weight, age and sex category. The sum of each of the best attempts per lift builds the total, and the athlete with the bigger total is the winner. In case of a draw, the lighter lifter wins.
The squat is the first movement of the competition. On that lift, the use of the legs and the back is extremely important. Once the athlete stands erect with his knees locked and the bar on his back, the central referee gives the squat command. The lifter then bends his knees and lowers his body until the top surface of the legs at the hip joint are lower than the top surface of his knees. He then comes back up, locking his knees and hips in order to complete the lift. The central referee will then give the rack command, and the athlete has to put the bar on the squat rack. There are 3 main mistakes to avoid in order to not have a no lift on the squat. First, if the athlete isn't standing erect with his knees locked at the beginning and at the end of the squat event. Second, if the proper competition depth isn't reached at the bottom of the movement. Third, if the athlete doesn't complete the lift with a single upward movement, meaning if the bar goes down during the ascent of the movement.
Good morning and welcome to the 2025 European Open Classic Powerlifting Championships here in Malaga, Spain, for the very last day of what has been an amazing championships. I'm Emilia Potter, joined by Alexander Nodin.
Yes, still here, Amelia. Last day, and may it be the best day possible with the 84s and the heavyweights later on in the afternoon.
Yeah, we have had quite a treat so far. It's going to be hard to top, but each day has been getting better and better. An exciting end to last night with the 76s and 120s. Today, as you mentioned, the 84s this morning in the B and the A group, the 84 plus and the 120 plus. Later on this afternoon, this morning consist of 2 flights of 7. And we head into an hour with Carmen Kaluda from Estonia, 140 kilos.
Great way to start the day.
And 3 white lights, a good lift.
140 kilos going to the bar for Nino Chirikishvili, followed by Becker and Arka. Bar is loaded.
Nino Chirikishvili from Georgia, 150 kilos. The big PB of 190, been competing for 10 years.
Yeah, that was a comfortable opener. 3 white lights, a good lift. Don't know if she's on pace for a match personal best because that would make for huge jumps, but she's looking good.
I was going to say, I thought perhaps maybe she's come down from the 84 plus, but she's weighing in at 76, so 76.06, in fact.
Yeah, very light for 84.
Birgit Ross Becker from Iceland, 152.5 kilos. Another athlete who's got a 10-year experience under her belt. 3 white lights, a good lift. And by the looks of it, the Georgian lifter, Trikashvili, has out her second and third attempt, which will make the flight a lot quicker for her competitors, but perhaps just dealing with an injury coming into it.
Bar is loaded.
Yeah, I mean, that's likely, but that is going to take a toll on her position. Only a 6-woman flight for the 84s is quite tough.
Yeah, it definitely will push her competitors a little bit more. Reminder, of course, this is the B group, so we have the A flight to follow. Rita Aka from Portugal, 155 kilos.
A very controlled eccentric. And it was not enough to please the referees. No lift, lack of depth, signal by both side referees. I can see why.
Yeah, let's have a look here. We're looking for the hip crease to drop below the top of the knee joint, and I think it really is on that border. It could have gone either way for the lifter, and unfortunately today just fell above. We now have Comfort Adedokan from Ireland, 157.5 kilos.
Someone we've seen almost all week in the stand cheering for Ireland and now competing.
Cheering for Ireland and studying her medical textbook, so
Respect.
yeah, very impressive lifter on and off the platform. Look like a strong opener there for Comfort. Just wait for that centre referee to hit their light, but let's have a look at that again in the replay in the meantime.
Flags, referees, please. Flags out.
There we go, 3 white lights, a good lift.
162.5 on the bar for Denisa Schwanzerova. Bar is loaded. Followed by Kronborg and Kaldula.
Denisa Schwanzerova from Czechia, 162.5 kilos. Just 2.5 kilos below her personal best, with 2 years of competitive experience. Not so unusual to see people progress at this sort of speed. And 2 to 1, a good lift. Just gets called on depth from the far side referee. This is where she gets a white, so we'll have a look at the replay.
I think she's safe from that side.
Yeah, and that's the side she gets the white from, but I can absolutely see the other side perhaps looking a little higher. And the Kronborg Ha from Denmark, 165 kilos.
Nice way to close out the first round of the squat.
Yeah, and it was a very comfortable looking squat. A good lift, and like we've been saying all week, a fast squat isn't indicative of an easy one, and a slow not indicative of a hard squat. That wasn't particularly fast, but it was clearly very comfortable on her back.
Absolutely.
As you said, that concludes the opening round of squats. We have Arco without a squat on the board yet. Just needs to squat it a little bit deeper. She has a chance now in her second round to do so. Carmen Kaljula from Estonia, 150 kilos, a 10 kilo jump.
And still 3 white lights, a good lift. a successful 10 kilo jump.
Rita Arca of Portugal. Followed by Baker and Adedoku. Bar is loaded.
Portugal's Rita Aga from a 155 opener. She missed on depth, looking to go up 2.5 kilos. Opening on her personal best of 155, missing it on depth, going up 2.5 kilos for a personal best. Still needs a squat on the board. Just needs to squat it a smidgen deeper.
Did this one look different to you?
Yeah, well, 2 to 1, a good lift. I was trying to actually gauge the speed on that, so I missed depth, and I think it just dips in there. You can see the hip crease slightly lower, even if the legs look at a similar place.
Yeah, I think it did just look a tiny bit better, which was enough to get 2 to 1. And the lift will stand. The jury seems to be satisfied with it.
Becker now jumping 7.5 kilos to 160 for a second attempt.
Three white lights, still a good lift. And the turnover rate is very, very fast.
Yeah, especially now with the Georgian lifter Xing out a second and third attempts. The rest time really is quite short for these lifters, especially for their top end. That might adjust their attempt choices. Comfort Adedokan from Ireland, 167.5 kilos. 10 kilo jump from her opener. Slow but strong there on her second attempt.
And she had one of the slowest openers, so this one is not that slow compared to her own opener.
There's a depth call from the far side referee, which I'm a little surprised to see, so I want to see this again in the replay.
It does look very good from that side.
And the Forge SBD kit looking really quite nice with the Island kit.
Absolutely.
Denisa Vantanarova from Czechia, 170 kilos for her second attempt.
No troubles there whatsoever. 3 white lights, a good second attempt. Denisa's looking strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, plenty left in the tank there. And now already to our heaviest second attempt before we move to the third and final round of squats before moving through to the A group. Anna Kronberg Haar of Denmark, 172.5 kilos. This is moving very quickly. I hope the A group are keeping their eye on the board.
Yeah, it does change the warm-up.
It's a lovely second attempt from Anna.
Yeah, so far so good. 3 white lights.
No misses in round 2. Let's keep it this way in round 3 names. 160 kilos on the bar for Karen Kaldula, followed by Arca and Becker.
And moving into the third round, you can see Kunbok Ha leading with 172.5. Subject to change as we move through to the third round of squats and with the A flight to follow. Carmen Kaljula from Estonia, 160 kilos. Another equal 10 kilo jump, spanning the jumps from her opener to 20 kilos overall. This will be for a 5 kilo personal best.
I think she's kicked in another gear. She's looking different on the platform.
Wow, it stopped for a second there, but she bullies that up, and I thought she might have lost it.
Very impressive recovery. I thought she had lost it too.
That is incredible. In that position for the bar to stop and get it going again is so incredibly difficult. Pure strength. It's very impressive.
Yeah, great use of the elbow drive to recover the bar positioning. It was a tough ask, but she managed to push it up.
Bar is loaded.
Bar is loaded for Rita Arca from Portugal. Missed her opener on depth, went up 2.5 kilos anyway. Probably looking to put herself in a good place to hit somewhere between her planned second and third on her third attempt. 165 now on the bar. Already hit a personal best with that second, so looking to extend that now.
She needs to go at least as deep as her second attempt. If you're gonna go down, make it count, Rita.
Again, looks very, very strong. Let's hope she kept the depth she found on the second. No.
That is unfortunately going to be a no.
It looked the highest out of the 3 squats she performed on the platform. And this tends to happen for inexperienced lifters, cutting depth on the third.
Yeah, I think it's psychologically quite tough to continue to squat down, even subconsciously, when you know it's the heaviest you ever squatted, and you know squatting a little bit higher will probably make it easier.
Yeah, by no means do we think that she did it on purpose.
167.5 kilos now remains in the bar for Becca. Just 2.5 kilos shy of her personal best, and not looking to match that today or extend it, but taking what she has on the day.
One. Yow, 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 yow.
And nicely done. 3 white lights for Birgit Ross. 3 for 3 in the squat events. Ended up only 2.5 kilos shy of a personal best and building the subtotal.
3 squats remaining in this B flight before we move through to the A group of the 84s for their squats.
The bar is loaded.
Comfort Adedokan from Ireland, 175 kilos. 7.5 kilo jump to match her personal best here on the international platform. That's a great push from Comfort. Wow, what a phenomenal squat.
Turns out she has a grind on her.
3 white lights, a good lift. That is the grind of the day so far. Let's have a look at that again. Wow.
Another recovery of the bar rolling forward. That was a lovely grind. Love to see it.
Denisa Svantinarova from Czechia, 177.5 kilos. 7.5 kilo jump from her second and our penultimate squat in this first flight. The weight looked very comfortable. I want to wait for the referee lights. 3 white lights, a good lift. Plenty left in the tank.
Yeah, especially considering that was a personal best.
177.5, not 180 on the bar for Anna Kronborg.
And now our final squat of this first flight for Anna Kronborg Ha of Denmark. 180 kilos being loaded on the bar. Just having a
Bar is loaded.
little wait now as she comes onto the platform. 180 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump. I think she's just saying perhaps the bar is at the wrong height. Oh, okay. There's an issue with the score sheet and the head referee stopped her from taking the squat. Hopefully this doesn't mess with her mentals too much. She was already quite much in the zone and that was interrupted, but she gets back into it now.
Yeah, a little scream to get back in the zone.
It's a very,
Focus for the third attempt.
it's a very clean stand up with the bar there. And now, unfortunately not.
Surely it messed with her because it sounded very doable for her.
Yeah, she kept the position really nicely, and maybe a 5 kilo jump could have been a better idea, but I do think that that interruption perhaps broke that stream of thought and focus heading into that final attempt.
I think I can only agree with that.
You can see the scoreboard as it stands, currently with Švančarova from Czechia leading with 177.5, Adadokan following with Kronberg Hard just behind, subject to change now as we head through to the A group, the 84s, consisting of a flight of 7. Some huge openers here where the openers will take the medals away from the B group quite instantly. Katja Jorgensen from Denmark, 177.5 kilos.
Yeah, pretty impressive. It's pretty rare to see each and every opener topping up the B group.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of B group medalers this week, but it doesn't look like it'll be that way for this squat session at least. Can't speak on the bench or the deadlift quite yet.
Nice opener. And Katja's on the board, 3 white lights.
Bars loaded, 180 kilos. Mina Holfjord, Norway.
Mina Holmfjord from Norway, 180 kilos on the bar. Second opener out in this flight, already taking squat gold.
With a lot of room to roam. 3 white lights, a good lift. Where will these ladies end up? How many of them are going to squat 200 is the real question.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a good group of them, if not most of this second flight. It's a very, very tight battle at the top, and the person in the lead on prognosis, just 5 kilos ahead, is Melina Irawo of Great Britain. 182.5 kilos, an extremely talented athlete. The 84s is a stacked class in Great Britain with Ziana and Erlov, now Melina in the opens as well.
Looking strong. I can very much see why she's the favorite, but she gets a red card from the front.
The centre referee, 182.5 of the bar for Anna Hieronymus of Germany. O'Reilly, Kornhaus-Dottir, and Svensson to get ready.
Very well-rounded athlete as well, if we see her opening attempts there.
182.5 kilos for Anna Hieronymus, Germany.
Now looking to contend for the title overall, we have Anna Hieronymus from Germany, 182.5 kilos on prognosis, nominated 5 kilos behind Irawo.
And back-to-back lovely openers.
Yeah, it's really nice, and she gave us a little cheeky smile at the top to let us know that it's feeling good today.
182.5 of the bar for Alison O'Reilly, Ireland.
Not always necessarily the speed of the bar that we need to watch, but maybe the lifter's reaction to how it feels.
And Anna could probably push Irawo a bit.
Ali O'Reilly from Ireland, 182.5 kilos.
Also someone we've seen in the stands all week long, cheering on her teammates. And today is her day. Very much in the fight for the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few kilos behind as it stands. That's so clean.
Looking good. Looking really good for Ali O'Reilly. 3 white lights.
She also picks up a lot of kilos in bench press. So it'll be interesting to watch. As you said, definitely a podium contender.
Bars loaded at 190 kilos for Kristin Kornhaus-Dottir, Iceland.
We now have Kristin Thorsholsdottir from Iceland, 190 kilos, now in the M1 class. So there are a bunch of extra records that could be at risk today. Keep our eyes on those. The squat a little far off right now at 217.5, but let's see if 190 moves. 217.5 is her record. Again, another contender for the podium, very much so.
Amazing opener. 3 white lights, a good lift for Kristin Thorsholsdottir.
Yeah, and I expect to see a pretty sizable jump there, especially knowing her top end's around that 220 mark.
Yeah, maybe something along the lines of 202.5.
I see that being justifiable, absolutely. Now our final opening attempt, we have Elinor Svensson from Sweden, 190 kilos. Has a personal best of 208 kilos, so opening a little bit closer to that. Interested to see how this moves. 1 year away from that M1 category, so record may not be safe for long.
Three white lights, she's on the board.
I expect to see a good jump from her, but not quite as big as maybe some of the others that we've seen.
Yeah, I think she'll need to be a bit safer, especially considering that squat is where she creates the greater part of her total.
And now immediately straight through to our second round of squats. Katja Jorgensen from Denmark, 187.5 kilos. 10 kilo jump from her opener. Takes her into squat bronze for the time being, of course, with the rest of the flight to follow. It's a flight of huge squatters. Slow down a good amount there throughout the top portion of the squat, but it looked good. It's 3 white lights. I think they're perhaps checking that it was the weight on the bar that they wanted, but it absolutely was 187.5, which now remains on the bar for Mina Holmfjord from Norway. Scandinavian lifters taking up over half of this flight.
And showing out for themselves.
Absolutely, that's a lovely second attempt. 3 white lights, good lift.
Yeah, there's more where that came from.
It's important when picking attempt selections to remember that the second attempt, for most people, shouldn't really be top end. There should be a good amount to jump into the third. Of course, different coaching styles favour different attempt selections.
Yeah, I think it's only on the deadlift where a second attempt can be top end if you want the upper end on your position, etc., etc. It's always strategic games, but not really in the squat.
Anna Irenemos from Germany, 190 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump to match her personal best. Has a big pull on her, which I imagine is where she can make those slightly bigger jumps and close the gap with Iramo, should she be in the position to do so. Right now, just needs to make as big of a subtotal as possible. Oh, I think that was a lot harder than it needed to be. Her knees kind of buckled at the bottom of the squat there, Alex. What did you see there?
Yeah, I think she lost it on the way down. It was not the eccentric she was expecting.
Yeah, not the one we saw in her opener.
Yeah, different eccentric for a failed lift this time. But she has the ability to correct this.
Yeah, it might hurt her though, especially if Melina Arar of Great Britain makes this 195 move as well as the 182.5 did.
Yeah, this one will create a gap.
Already it was a bigger jump than Irina Moss, and Melina's opener may be one of the easiest of the 7.
Fully agree.
Yeah, that is so nice.
Yeah, 3 white lights, she's on the board.
In round 2.
Yeah, that's going to help her a lot because she's got plenty left to go into the 3rd. Ali O'Reilly from Ireland, 195 kilos, 12.5 kilo jump, putting herself in a really good position for not just podium, potentially silver, and if Arayo misses up, maybe even gold.
And should this one move well, she's pacing herself for a nice personal best. Considering our registered PB is 200 kilos.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, I think at least 200 for the 3rd.
All these ladies are shooting for gold now. The bar is loaded at 202.5 for Kristin
Now our penultimate second attempt. Both lifters left to take their second attempts with this weight. 202.5. First on the bar for Kristen Thorshildottir from Iceland. 12.5 kilo jump to move her into squat gold for the time being. She is the heaviest in the flight at 84 kilos even. And in the fight for podium, that is not working in her advantage, so she will need to build as big of a total as possible.
This one's still moving well. 3 white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, on the track to do so.
She will move into provisional gold medal position as she is 20 grams lighter. Bar is loaded at 202.5 kilos. Elinor Svensson of Sweden. Commander.
Now at only 20 grams lighter than Thorshildottir. 202.5 will put her into provisional gold. Elena Svensson from Sweden. Very close to her max 208.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is closer towards up end than what it was for Kristen. And take your time to get it right. Might be a great advice from the crowd.
There we
Turns
go.
out she gets it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely quite difficult, but a good second attempt. Interesting, she seems to begin her brace during the descent.
Yeah, that's unusual. But that's squat goal for the time being.
Absolutely, and we move into the third round where that may be subject to change. Maybe she'll fight to keep hold of it. Currently leading ahead of Thorshildottir and Irawo. And coming out for thirds now. Now, Anna Irenemos from Germany, she missed her second. The descent was slightly different. She lost that tension in the hole. And I think if she can just control it a little bit better, strength didn't seem to be an issue necessarily. 7.5 kilos off of how her opener moved doesn't seem like a huge ask. But it's all very different on the platform.
Come on, maintain technique. Half gets Anna.
That's much better already. No, but I think just tanked her energy a little bit on that second.
Yeah, because I agree that this one looked better, but just couldn't push.
Yeah, I think the case as well, like we've spoken about before, mentally after maybe the squat she had on her second, to come back and try that again a short few minutes later, it's quite a big ask, physically and mentally.
Yeah, only 6 minutes rest to reset and correct is difficult.
Katja Jorgensen from Denmark, 192.5 kilos for her third and final attempt.
That would be a 2.5 kilo personal best for the Danish.
Definitely looking to benefit if one of the top few lifters slip up and she can pull onto the podium. Oh, fantastic effort there from Katja.
Great attempt selection. Trusting yourself with a PB to try and make a case for yourself in the race for the podium.
Yeah, and especially with Irenemos making a couple of mistakes there. She certainly could push. Mina Homfjord from Norway, 192.5 kilos. Still a little way off her personal best of 204. So hopefully this is within her wheelhouse, collecting all the kilos she can.
Yeah, the 204 was not here today, so she collected what she had. 3 white lights, a good lift for the Norwegian.
And despite the speed slowdown, actually still a relatively smooth third attempt.
Yeah, no technique breakdown. It just got harder, but not worse technically speaking.
There are 3 ladies following her who will possibly ruin her day if successful.
Now to move into squat gold for the time being, ahead of Svensson and Thorsilsdottir, 202.5. Melina is the lightest out of those top contenders, which will definitely come in helpful. 202.5 kilos, still holding on to that lead heading into bench. If she gets this, this is a match personal best.
This wants to assert herself as the favorite in the class.
Extra 7.5 kilos will do a lot here. If not, she may end up matched going into bench press. But it doesn't seem like that will be a threat. Ooh, but 2-to-1, no lift for depth. We'll have a look at that in the replay from the side that gets the white as the coach heads over to the jury. Yeah, that might hurt her. I'm worried that actually was a little
this
high.
Is the side she got a white from.
Yeah, so unfortunately loses those 7.5 kilos. Now if Ali O'Reilly from Ireland gets this, not only does she move into squat gold as she is lighter than Thorsilsdottir and Svensson for the time being, she goes into bench press matched with Arawo.
Yeah, with Irawo missing, this class is everyone's at the moment.
Yeah, should final attempts go well for Thorsilsdottir and O'Reilly, all three will be going into bench press on prognosis matched. Subject to change obviously with deadlifts, but
Let's go, Ali. Doors opened.
absolutely. Run through if you can.
Yeah, now is not the time to knock.
Oh, it's a perfect final squat from Ireland. A great crawl. And goes into bench press, as we said, matched with the favourite on total, the Rawo. Excellent job from O'Reilly and Team Ireland.
Yeah, great call. Also collecting a PB and building a nice and chunky subtotal. Interesting.
Yeah, and she's got the biggest bench in the flight as well, so setting herself up really, really well. Looking to move back into squat gold from bronze, 212.5 kilos. As I said, if she's to get this, matches both Irawa and O'Reilly heading into bench press on prognosis.
And she looked more comfortable than Elina Svensson under 202.5.
As I mentioned before, the heaviest in the flight, so not going to help in a neck-to-neck battle, but she's looking strong. She may not need it. No, unfortunately not there. So falls a little bit behind Irawa and O'Reilly heading into bench press, but there's a long day ahead.
Yeah, this one's really gonna hurt her. But 6 more attempts to go.
Eleanor Svensson from Sweden, 212.5 kilos to move from squat silver into gold, ahead of O'Reilly from Ireland. Unfortunately not quite there today for Svensson, which means O'Reilly ended up in gold, which I'm sure she'll be happy about. I know that she considers herself a big bencher, but full rounder now.
Please, if you haven't already, go grab yourself a competition t-shirt from the SPD stand. Talk to Joe at Total Focus about photo video.
And in squat bronze, Thorsilsdottir with 202.5 kilos, all the squat podium with that number on the bar, separated only by body weight. In silver, Svensson from Sweden, and in gold, Ali O'Reilly from Ireland. We're going to head into a short 10-minute break now before bench press. We'll catch you then. Hello and welcome back to the 2025 European Open Classic Powerlifting Championships here in Malaga, Spain, with the 84 kilo class. And in the squats, we saw all top 3 on the podium squatting 202.5, separated just by body weight. O'Reilly from Ireland ending up on top ahead of Svensson and Thorsdottir. We head now into bench press with the running order from the B group, going all the way up to 97.5 kilos. So I expect to see a good amount of lifters ending up 100 kilos and above here.
Yeah, we have some surprising misses, so at this point it is still anyone's class.
Yes, as before, we have 2 flights of 7, the B and then the A group. So we'll see the numbers jump around a little bit. Denisa Shvanznerova from Czechia, 85 kilos.
And just like that, she should be on the board. Yes, she is. 3 white lights. Pretty low wrist wraps.
Yeah, normally a little bit higher to help the wrist. Interesting there.
Bit of placebo work.
90 kilos for Nino Trikshvili from Georgia, who didn't come out for her second or third attempt. X'd out the attempts, so perhaps dealing with some sort of injury that affects her squats.
And 3 white lights, she's on the board. Hopefully she'll take all 3 attempts now.
Bar is loaded.
Rita Arca now, 90 kilos, opening on her personal best.
Hopefully she's not flying too close to the sun with this opener.
Another lifter here with really low wrist wraps, slightly higher than before. Do you want to talk us through the purpose of wrist wraps once we've seen Rita take her opener?
I'll do that.
Just getting a hand out here.
Not the easiest of openers. Moving like a second, dare I say.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see where she can push it from here, maybe making some smaller jumps. And just quickly, the Georgian lifter has X'd out also her second and third bench. So we're looking at the wrist straps here, a little higher than the others. So
This ones are a bit higher up, so I think in this case they help to maintain the proper wrist positioning. And some lifters use it to hide a bit of pain in the wrist, which I think is the wrong reason to wear wrist wraps. You should treat your wrists, but they do help to maintain proper wrist positioning, which is so key in the bench press.
yeah, absolutely. Comfort Adedokin from Ireland, 92.5 kilos. I think just 2.5 below her personal best. Had a big grinder on her final squat.
Yeah, I think she's feeling great. She has strong momentum after that squat. Not the most comfortable eccentric, which made for a difficult concentric. 3 white lights. She seemed to be surprised as to how that moved.
Yeah, not going to get any issues with elbow depth there.
Nope.
Bar is loaded.
Bar is loaded for Birgit Rosbecker from Iceland, 92.5 kilos.
utilizing the whole minute to set up and receive the start command. And easy work with 92.5. 3 white lights, a good lift for the Icelandic.
97.5 kilos in the bar for Karen Kalula of Estonia, followed by Kronborg to wrap up our first round of attempts.
Yeah, Scandinavian lifters very well known for being good benchers, and in 14 lifters we have 6 from that part of the world. Carmen Kaljula from Estonia, 97.5 kilos.
That's quite a long press command. Let's see if that bar was not stabilized.
3 white lights, a good lift.
Anna Kronborg at 97.5 kilos for Denmark. Bar is loaded.
Anna Kronborg har 97.5 kilos, representing Denmark.
Easy opener, 3 white lights, she's on the board. Every member of the B group has an attempt. Like we said earlier, the Georgian has opted to X out all 2 of us over next attempts, so only 6 athletes to go now in the flight.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if she's going to do the same on her deadlift. She's done both on squat and bench, which is take her opener and X out attempt.
Sounds likely, unfortunately.
Denisa Shvantanarova from Czechia, 90 kilos in the bar to match her personal best. Some nice nail art there.
And I think this is just how she wears her wrist wraps, because there aren't any higher up than before. The 3 white lights, a good lift.
92.5 on the bar for Rita Arka, followed by Adegoko and Vic.
Yes, she has room for a third.
The bar is loaded.
Rita Arca from Portugal, 92.5 kilos. As expecting, taking that 2.5 kilo jump, you said you thought her opener looked a little tough, and especially with the quick turnover, making those smarter decisions.
Yeah, I'm expecting this one to be a hard one. Doable still, but a hard one. But that would be a personal best. And I don't think it's a technique matter. I think it's not here today for the Portuguese. Rita Arca.
Yeah, it just looks, like you said, like a strength issue. I'm not sure that's something she'll be able to get back on her third, but I'd love to be proved wrong. I just worry I won't be.
I agree.
The bar is loaded.
97.5 kilos for Comfort Aladokan. 2.5 kilos above her personal best, getting really close to that 100 kilo bench here.
And the more I see these countries singlet from our sponsor SBD, the more I'm thankful they are not on sale, otherwise I would have been poor.
With the new belt and the orange clasp as well.
Yeah, looking good. But the Irish singlet, the Icelandic singlet, if they were for sale like in soccer or other sport, I would have been poor.
bed sheets made of singlets.
Oh yeah.
That's a great grind there from Comfort.
She's a grinder.
Yeah, she doesn't really seem too phased by it. It's a good lift, and I imagine we're going to see that 100 go on the bar for her third there.
I think there's nowhere else to go. Because when you don't aim for a record, this is the smallest jump you can take.
100 kilos for Becca. I matched personal best in her second.
Sizable jump of 7.5 kilos.
Yeah. You can see some of the athletes opting to wear a belt. A lot of time in raw lifting, that would be to help brace into it. Equipped, another reason they would use it is to help keep their bench shirt down.
One thing to know is that the contact of the bar with the belt will be ruled a technical foul, so you really don't want to do that.
Slows down a considerable amount, but still manages to lock her arms out. And it is a good lift. 3 white lights.
It looked hard from afar. How did it look on the replay? Yeah, it was more of a grinder.
She's also got quite a long torso, so it means the belt's further down, so not in so much danger of touching the bar on there, which is good. Carmen Kaljula from Estonia, 102.5 kilos. 5 kilo jump to match her personal best.
Three white lights, a good lift.
Our final second attempt at 102.5, Anna Kronborg from Denmark. And the bar is loaded.
And I think she really doesn't want to go wider with the grip because we could almost see the rings on the right side.
Anna Kronborg from Denmark, 102.5 kilos, a 5 kilo jump from her opener. Getting close to her personal best of 105 kilos now. And the final second attempt in this first flight before moving through to the third and final round. Quite a long press command there. A good lift, 3 white lights. She's got held for it on her chest a little bit. And
We'll have a look at the replay to see whether or not she stabilized the bar. It surely looked like she did when she got the command, but
yeah, it was. I don't think it could have got more stationary, but still had the strength to push it up. And I think if she gets a slightly quicker command on her third, she has a couple more kilos in her for sure. We head into the final round of bench press for this first flight of 84s.
already.
Yeah, it's very, very quick. 92.5 for Denisa Shvantanarova.
And 3 white lights, 3 for 3 in the bench press.
The bar is loaded.
Rita Acker from Portugal retaking 92.5, and what seemed like a strength issue, coming out to try and reattempt it for a new personal best.
this really makes you wonder, had she taken a slightly lighter opener, maybe she would have had the strength for this one.
Well, she jumped the press command, so I think once she realised she did that, she'd kind of given up in trying to press through. But I think, again, like you said, just opened a bit heavy today. 100 kilos in the bar for Comfort Adedokan from Ireland. Big smile as she comes out, a heart to the crowd. Huge milestone bench should she get this. Big grind on her second, but we saw in her squat third that she has a big grind in her.
Yeah, I wouldn't count her out yet.
Just giving directions to the head spotter how she would like the handout given. Well worth doing it if you have the time before each attempt, because they may see a lot of lifters in between your two attempts.
Yeah, they've seen a lot of faces this week. They're not able to remember each and every handoff. So well worth taking a few seconds. Come on! We were expecting it to be tough. It was 50-50 whether or not she would have been able to push. So no lift this time.
Yeah, but that 97.5 then was all she had on the day.
No regrets.
No, not at all, and she still seems like she's enjoying herself. Becca from Iceland, 102.5 kilos, a 2.5 kilo jump from her second for a new personal best.
Once again, I think a case of strength, not technique. She got 100 on her second, which was all she had on the day. And we've been saying this, but statistically, that third bench attempt is the most missed in all powerlifting, even more than the third deadlift.
Yeah, and bench is the lift that tends to be the one that drops off the fastest in terms of being able to push through and numbers, so it's to be expected. Anna Kronberg Haar from Denmark, 105 kilos. Her final attempt to match her personal best.
The grinder, come on!
That is
Keep pushing, keep
incredible.
pushing, keep pushing!
What a grind from Kronberg Haar, and the most deserved bench I've seen. Oh, and that's such a shame. Two blues there. The jury are discussing it. I don't know if there was downwards movement, which the blue would have been for. Looks like it went
I
up,
think
or
right
maybe
here.
maybe a tiny
It was
dip.
very late, a tiny dip on the right side. I think
Yeah.
it's very subtle.
She did well not to dip it until then. Now the final bench of this first flight. Only one successful third attempt so far. Carmen Koyula, 107.5.
And the jury has overruled the previous lift.
There we go. It was a good lift. I was wondering. And that is great news. Now two successful third attempts.
Come on, Carmen, make it 3.
Lovely.
I think she jumped press command here.
And that would explain the lovely. Yeah, like we said, similar with the squats where you tend to cut depth a bit as it gets heavier, it's very easy to press when your mind tells you to and you think you'll get the lift rather than when the referee tells you to.
Sometimes you play the game and you get it, this time she doesn't.
And that concludes the first flight of lifters. We head through now to the A flight. These numbers subject to change as we have some huge benches in this flight. Already similar to squats, the openers will take those podium positions. Our heaviest opener belongs to our squat gold medalist, Ali O'Reilly, with 120. And the world record and European record both again belong to Agata at 156. So I don't think we'll see that today, but we'll get some huge numbers up there. 85 kilos for Elena Svensson from Sweden. Walked away with squat silver.
Super clean. Thumbs up, 3 white lights, a good lift.
102.5 kilos for Anna Hieronymus of Germany. Prepare for Hausdottir and Jürgensen. Bar is loaded, 102.5 kilos for Anna Hieronymus.
Anna Hieronymus from Germany, 102.5 kilos, opening on her personal best. Now she lost some kilos out on her squat, only getting 1 in, so falling a little bit behind on prognosis, but not completely out of the picture by any means for podium. Really wants to rack up some kilos here on bench though.
Pretty explosive, 2 to 1, a good lift. And what that yellow would be for, jumping the command or some butt lifting off the bench?
We'll have a look at the side here. The centre referee happy that she met the command. Can't see any lifting, so I think she will be okay. And the jury keep that as a good lift. Very easy as well. 105 for Kristen Thorsdottir from Iceland.
She lost out on a lot of kilos with her third attempt being a no lift. If she wants to get back in the fight for the title, she'll need to collect kilos and play it smart, play the long game. That was a great first attempt. 3 white lights, she's on the board.
105 on the mark of Katja Jørgensen of Denmark. Hofjord, Irao, get ready. Bars loaded, 105 kilos, Katja Jørgensen, Denmark.
Katja Jørgensen from Denmark, 105 kilos, opening 6 kilos below her personal best and Danish record.
Not the easiest of openers, but very clean technically speaking. I think it took quite a lot of time for her to get the start command, her starting position. Took a bit of time to get accepted by the side referees.
You sometimes get that with the higher archers, just making sure that their glutes are fully making contact with the bench. 112.5 kilos for Mina Holmfjord from Norway. Of course, this instantly takes her into bench press gold. With 2 lifters to follow still, Arawa and O'Reilly. Wow.
I mean, Down and up.
2 to 1, that's a good lift.
Just get a yellow from the far side referee, so we'll have a look at that side angle again and see if that was any sort of lifting or they didn't get that. It was quite a quick press command.
I think it was once again for the command.
Yeah, and it might be a case of those side referees also can't hear the centre judge sometimes.
Chief referee so far, and this is a delay.
117.5 kilos for Melina Irawo from Great Britain. Automatically taking her now into gold with O'Reilly to follow. Has a personal best of 130.5 kilos, a huge bench press for Melina. So it could be putting up a fight for bench press gold, but looking overall to rack up some kilos heading into deadlift.
So clean.
Yeah, she is an excellent lifter to watch. 3 white lights, a good lift. Very, very easy opening attempt. And now that on prognosis she's matched with O'Reilly, she's going to just want to make as many lifts as she can. She has a similar bench and a slightly heavier opener on deadlift. O'Reilly now from Ireland, 120 kilos with a personal best of 132.5. She's medalled at Open Worlds before on bench press, so
Very respectable.
yes, I think it was in Malta. She battled it out with Amanda Lawrence for the bench press gold.
That's quite a name to battle with. One of the goats of the game.
Oh, that is so clean.
Light work for Ali O'Reilly.
And I thought Arawa was probably going to be the easiest one we saw, but I think she takes the crown on easiest opener there. Very comfortable. Very technically efficient.
And in that case, what do you do? Do you match the jump of Irawo, or do you play your game and go a bit more aggressive?
I think you've got to stay in your own lane at this point and focus on just getting as many kilos as you have. And I think that's where people trip up a lot of the time, is they're chasing other people too early on instead of just getting as many kilos as they can. So I think they're going to maximize her bench regardless of what Araya does. Elena Svensson from Sweden, 90 kilos. It seems they made the same jump in any case. Quite a popular jump on bench, 7.5. Slow, but manages to keep pushing through that and is a good lift, 3 white lights. And if her bench is anything like her squat, then maybe she's just a slow squatter. And Irene Moss from Germany, 107.5 kilos. Another lifter whose opener was very, very comfortable. Opened on her personal best, which I have to say, after her squat, I was a little bit worried about, but it was more than justified in the way that it moved. Just cleaning up the bench now. Sometimes the chalk on the lifter's back can get caught up in the grip on the bench and make it actually a little bit more slippy than you'd want it. A bit of a reverse effect there. So Anna coming out now for that 107.5. 5 kilos doesn't seem like a big ask after how well 102 moved, but we'll have to see what the jump does to her.
That's still pretty nice.
And a good lift, 3 white lights. Yeah, very, very comfortable still.
So that was a PB. I think she's due for another one if she makes the correct jump on the third.
Bars loaded, 110 kilos, for Torhalsdottir, Iceland. Yo, yo, yo.
110 kilos for Kristen Thulsdottir from Iceland.
And this one deserves the yo-yos. It was easy. 3 white lights, a good lift.
3 white lights, good lift.
Absolutely up and down, just like a yo-yo itself.
Oh, okay. Okay, Amelia.
What can I say? Dad jokes by nature. 110 kilos for Katja Jorgensen from Denmark. Just 1 kilo below her personal best. And Danish bench record, so looking really strong today. On target for a PB total.
It's a harder one, but she stayed in control of that bar. 3 white lights, a good lift. With not so much room to roll now.
Yeah, and as we said, a contender for podium, so Jess wants to make a safer choice, I think. As if anybody pushing for podium does miss out on a lift now, it could cost them. Mina Holmfjord from Norway, 120 kilos, moves her into bench press gold for the time being, with Irara and O'Reilly to follow. A very good grind, and worth mentioning as well, still a junior, only 22 years old. Very bright future ahead of herself. Our penultimate second attempt here for Melina Araro of Great Britain, 125 kilos. 5.5 kilos below her personal best, 7.5 kilo jump. She's lighter than O'Reilly, so as long as they keep matching each other, she will be in a better position. But let's see how this moves. The opener was very, very easy for both British and the Irish lifter.
So clean.
Yeah, plenty left there. I could see 7.5 being justifiable again, but they may go for a safer route of 5 kilos.
I think she's pacing well. Contrary to some of those lifters that went very aggressive with the second, she has more in the tank for the third.
Going for gold, bars loaded at 127.5 kilos for Alison O'Reilly.
127.5 kilos for Ali O'Reilly from Ireland. 7.5 kilo jump, taking her back into bench press gold, ahead of Araro.
Not yet guaranteed gold, but a guaranteed silver.
Again, a very easy opener we saw from O'Reilly. Looking for perhaps squat bench as well as bench gold as well as squat gold.
Sounds likely.
It's still so easy. Slow down a little bit, but definitely 2.5, 5 kilo jump maybe. I think perhaps see 130.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree. She doesn't really want to miss out on 2.5 when going for 5.
Have to see what Team Ireland do, but for now in the bench press gold position with 127, followed by Araro with 125 and Holmfjord with 120. Move into the final round of bench press now with 92.5 kilos for Elena Svensson from Sweden.
Lovely third. 3 white lights, a good lift. 3 for 3 in the bench press event for the Swedish. I think that was a perfect call.
Bar loaded, 110 kilos for Anna Hieronymus, Germany.
110 kilos for Anna Hieronymus from Germany. Second looked good, but I think making the sensible choice here, taking a small jump as she's trying to claw back some kilos after missing a couple of squats. Some good support for her in the crowd there. Wow, I did not expect that.
I'm worried. No, she's on 3 white lights.
That is an incredible third bench. Let's look at that again. She stopped the bar dead and then rolled it.
Yeah, this had me worried for downwards movement, but it looked good from that angle.
Practicing a double pause and training perhaps from now on. Katja Jorgensen from Denmark, 112.5 kilos. Can't see her, so I don't think she's coming out. So I'm just going to talk about how close it is at the top here between Arar and O'Reilly heading into deadlifts. Both on prognosis with 530. Should they both make their final bench? Should they both miss? They go in still matched. Of course, we know what happens if it is a case of one of them makes, one of them misses. It looks like O'Reilly did go for that 5 kilo jump, which I think will be towards top end, but I don't think it will be impossible by any means.
Especially considering she's already done it in competition.
Yeah, and she's a very clean technical bencher. You know, I think as long as she has a good setup, I think it should be there for her.
She must be confident.
Yeah.
She must be confident.
I think perhaps Team Ireland saw as well, as you were talking about before, Team GB putting in a 5 kilo jump and knowing they had a bigger deadlift, wanted to
Stay in the race.
yes, stay in the race for the title, not just a position. Now, 115 kilos for Kristen Thorsdottir from Iceland. A strong contender for the bronze overall. And of course, a higher position should O'Reilly and Araro push each other too much around at the top there.
And she's looking to create a gap with Jorgensen, Hieronymus, to try and secure the podium and then maybe fight with the top two.
Very sensible decision there. She realised the bar had dipped and then looked at the spotters to take it. There's no point of wasting that energy if you know it would be a no lift. You can see here, pushes, bar goes down, looks for the spotters to take it.
Bar is loaded. 122.5 kilos. Vida Holfjord, Norway.
3 benches remaining, and these are the bench podium spots already secured. Mina Holmfjord from Norway, 122.5 kilos. Already has bronze medal secured. This will match her personal best.
Not here today.
I'm sorry, that is no lift for Holfjord. 130 on the bar for Melina Ibrao.
Looks like she knew on the way down.
O'Reilly will take it back with her lift if successful. So where's this gold medal going? Is it going to Britain or Ireland?
This one was not going anywhere, but no regrets. She took the smallest jump possible and collected 120.
Melina Araro from Great Britain. This takes her into bench press gold for the time being, with O'Reilly to follow. 130, just half a kilo below her personal best. Absolutely massive bench here for Melina, and again puts her in a really strong position heading into deadlifts, with the advantage of one of the biggest deadlifts in the flight.
looking strong.
Yeah, 3 white knights, a good lift, a lovely attempt from Melina there. And moves into bench press gold for the time being. There's only one lifter looking to take that away from her. As I said before, already with squat gold, looking for a bench gold and putting herself in a really strong position to fight for gold overall at the end of the day. Ali O'Reilly from Ireland, 132.5 kilos for those integral 5 extra kilos on her total heading into deadlift.
She'll need those, especially considering that Hirao has the upper hand in the deadlift eventual. She'll know what to pull. And she also had body weight advantage. So pretty much everything in the favor of Hirao if this one doesn't go through. Work it, Ali.
Yeah, and they were trying to match, but I think perhaps that 2.5 kilos we spoke about would have been a little bit safer, but
Yeah, easy to say after seeing the attempt.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, they are trying to push for a European title. If there's going to be a place to push, it's here.
Absolutely.
So in bench press bronze with 120, Homfjord from Norway. In silver, just missing narrowly that final push, 127.5 for O'Reilly from Ireland. And in bench press gold, we have Melina Iraro from Great Britain with 130 kilos. And it is tight heading into deadlift, so you don't want to miss it. Big fight for the title, big fight for podium. Come back in 10 minutes to see who walks away with which medal. We will see you then. Hello and welcome back to the 2025 European Open Classic Powerlifting Championships here in Malaga, Spain. We have the 84 kilo class for you, consisting of 2 flights of 7, and we head into the deadlifts now. As you can see here, it is a tight race. We have the B flight to start, and then they fight for the crown and the podium in the A flight to follow. Some huge openers here. We have the Georgian lift opening at 210 after only coming out for 2 attempts so far.
Surprising.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy. Let's see how it works out for her. Carmen Kaljula from Estonia, 160 kilos.
No lifts. A blue and a red. So blue in the deadlift could be for 2 things. Either downwards movements or supporting on the thighs. Could you make a case here for one of those?
I think she just,
Wobbled.
yeah, just a bit of a speed wobble and a balance issue at the top there. Hopefully something she can just control a little better on that second. Becca now 162.5 kilos. Yeah, steady opener. And a good lift, 3 white lights.
And the bar is loaded.
Denisa Shvantnerova from Czechia, 165 kilos.
That would already give her a PB total.
Yeah, she's tremendously strong considering she's only been competing for 2 years. I mean, strong anyway, but 2 years, very impressive.
Yeah, there's not a lot of experience to be on the international platform. Light work. 3 white lights, a good lift, and a 5 kilo PB in total with 2 more attempts to go.
For Concord Alidokun of Ireland, followed by Krondor and Arka. And the bar is loaded.
Yeah, Comfort Adedokun from Ireland, 177.5 kilos.
Aggressive slack pull.
3 white lights, a good lift. Rocking the mismatching shoes there, the orange and white.
Matches the belt.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lovely opener. Secures her total. Can build from here.
And the bar is loaded. Anna Kromborg of Denmark.
Anna Kronborg Ha from Denmark, 180 kilos.
Once again, lightweight. 3 white lights.
190.5 on the bar for Rita Arka, followed by Chirikishvili
And we have 2 more openers to go in this B flight of 84s.
Yeah, flying through again. And of course the Georgian lifters X'd out her previous 2 lifts in terms of squat and bench, so perhaps won't do this time round. Maybe pushing to get as high on the rankings deadlist as possible. 192.5 kilos for Rita Arca. Huge opening attempt. Starting quite far away from the bar, rolls it towards her for momentum. 3 white lights, a good lift. What do you think of that style, Alex?
It's usually something we see more with the strongmen than with the powerlifters. So pretty surprised to see that. Seemed to work for her, but I'm not so sure how she's going to handle the momentum of the bar on her shin with more weight.
Now, 210 kilos for Nino Trikshishvili. Pretty comfortable for her. I think she upped her opener as well, and it's a good lift, 3 white lights. Seems to be deadlifting some sort of running trainer with a cushioned sole, which is just nothing wrong with it. It's just you don't see it too often.
And I'm looking to see whether or not they will X out our following attempts.
No, it doesn't look like they will. I think they're going to come out for their other attempts. And she leads the pack there with that 210, and I believe we'll see some more lifts from her. Carmen Kalula coming out now.
The bar is loaded.
Now, missed her opener, 160, just a bit of a balance issue at the top.
Went up anyway.
Yeah, with a balance issue, you know, this doesn't seem usually as much of a risk when it moves like that. When it's a bit stickier at lockout, you would argue the case, but her personal best is 191.5, so you'd hope should be okay.
Yeah, I think in most cases, when the lifter is confident about grip, they go up in that case.
You know, one day I'm waiting for someone to accidentally roll it off the platform.
Please don't.
I don't want it to happen. I just worry. Yeah, it's much better.
Yep, 3 white lights. She's finally on the board. The total is secured.
The bar is loaded.
We now have Denisa Shvantnerova from Czechia, taking 175 kilos, a 10 kilo jump from her opener. Just 5 kilos below her personal best here on her second.
Wow. Guess that's more PV in total. 3 white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, and she seems pretty chuffed with that, and she should be. It's still moving very, very quickly. Like you said, continues to push that personal best.
And she's already 15 above what she had registered before.
Becca coming out for 175, a 12.5 kilo jump. Of course, this isn't Kauyula, it's just the wrong name on the screen there. We have Becca from Iceland currently.
Great technique. 3 white lights and a good lift.
192.5 on the bar. Antwerp at the bottom of Ireland. Followed by Kronborg and Arca.
$192.5 kilos being loaded on the bar now for Comfort Adedokin from Ireland.
It's the biggest jump anyone's taken.
Yeah, 15 kilo jump from her opener, leaving her 7.5 kilos below her personal best on deadlift. and 5 kilos below her personal best on total. Wow, makes a 15 kilo jump look very comfortable.
I mean, I think this one even looked better than the opener. 3 white lights. Looking strong, looking very strong in this big group of the 84s.
Bar is loaded.
Anna Kronberg from Denmark, 12.5 kilo jump to 192.5, leaving her 7.5 kilos below her personal best on deadlift and 10 on total on her second attempt.
Come on.
3 white lights once again.
205 kilos on the bar for Rita Arca of Portugal, followed by Chirikishvili and Mankarova.
Yeah, I think she has more. It's pretty common for
The bar
a conventional
is
lockout to
loaded.
get sticky.
Our penultimate second attempt here in this first flight with Rita Arca from Portugal, 205 kilos. Had that interesting, like you said, similar to a strongman technique. She starts quite far from the bar and rolls it towards her. Would you say for momentum?
Yeah, I think the momentum is the hard part to handle here. Because you really want the bar to go upwards, not backwards.
Ah, sticky lockout, but it's really well to lock it out. Good lift, 3 white lights. I do wonder, it's hard to gauge, you know, how much she has left in the tank when it is that style. But the lockout was very tough.
Yeah, I think the lockout was very tough because her hips get back a lot because of the momentum of the bar. It's gonna be a big ask to lift anything heavier than this.
We now see the first ever second attempt from the Georgian lifter Nino Trikshishvili, 217.5 kilos. It's pretty similar to our opener.
I mean, was she only saving some gas by Xing out the attempts for a massive third attempt in the deadlift event?
I'm very intrigued by these trainers.
It's not ideal for deadlift. Not that much stability and more range of motion.
Well, I suppose we can say that to her when she's not the heaviest deadlifter in her flight.
And she might grab a medal.
Yeah, it'll be a hard battle. There's some big deadlifters in the flight to come, but she could put herself in a good position to perhaps grab that bronze. You can see
She'll
here.
need at least 225 to do so.
Yeah, at the very least. Like I said, some big pullers to come. Looks like they put in 222.5, which, you know, could still be in the ballpark. It'd just be hard. Denisa Svančanová from Czechia, 185 for a final pull of the day for a 10 kilo PB total. Again. Wow. She's had a phenomenal day.
3 white lights and a massive personal best of 25 kilos in total.
And I'm wondering if she's just come up from the 76s, because she weighed in at 79.96, so still about 5 kilos light. And so I imagine we're seeing a lot of progress from her as she gains the body weight into the class.
Yeah, a lot of muscle mass to develop and get stronger in the class.
Bar is loaded.
Birgit Ross Becker from Iceland, 185 kilos for her final pull. For a 2.5 kilo PB on total, 5 kilo PB on deadlift if she makes this.
This one won't pass the knees. Too big of a jump, no lift for the Icelandic.
Kajula next at 187.5 for Estonia, followed by Adolfo and Kronborg.
It's still a pretty great outing from the Icelandic.
Carmen Kajula from Estonia taking a 17.5 kilo jump. She missed her opener on balance, but she went up anyway, so it's interesting to see. Perhaps this was her planned third attempt. Maybe she wanted to make a slightly bigger jump from first to second. She's making up the ground here, but sometimes it matters how you get from A to B. But she might be absolutely fine with this jump. We don't know what she does in training. We'll have to wait and see.
I think maybe 450 was the goal all along.
Yeah, it'd be a 1 kilo total PB, so imagine she's chasing it. She's not chasing a title or a podium position, so trying to take what she came for. She's deadlifted this before, but probably not with this jump. Wow! Oh, to be honest, quite surprised she broke the ground after how she started pulling.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm pretty impressed with that alone.
She showed heart. She kept on pulling. It broke the ground. Great effort. Just not here today.
I think I would have lost my voice if she managed to pull that.
Oh yeah, that would have been quite some grind.
Just 4 deadlifts remaining in this first flight before we move through to the second flight of lifters, where we'll see them battle it out for podium. Anna Kronborg Har from Denmark, 197.5 kilos, a 5 kilo jump from her second.
Come on. And the typical conventional lockout. I think it was perfectly fine for the referees. Yes, it was 3 white lights for the Danish. Yeah, perfectly up to standards. She managed a nice third attempt. Bang on.
Our penultimate deadlift in this first flight for Comfort Adedoken from Ireland, a 10 kilo jump. This will give her 5 kilo personal best on total and a 2.5 kilo personal best on deadlift should she make this, and she comes out beaming, ready for the pull. Immense support from the Irish in the crowd.
All tucked up to manage an easier lockout, reduce friction.
One last pull of the day for a total and deadlift PB for Comfort.
Let's go, Comfort. You're strong enough. Come on.
Wow. That was considerably easier than I think both her opener and her second. It is a good lift.
She's
Rewind
in
light.
disbelief. Am I the one that just done that?
That is incredible. It's a lot more like a second than it did a third.
Yeah, she might have like something like 210 on the day.
Very casual personal best there. And we head into our last 2 deadlifts of this flight. We've seen an attempt change come in for Arca.
212.5 for Rita Arca of Portugal.
212.5 kilos for Rita Arca from Portugal. 7.5 kilo jump. The 205 was pretty tough. We'll see what this does here. Oh, and she gets it moving, but is glued just above the knees. And that's, I think, where she loses that momentum.
And I think here you can really see the limits of this technique. It makes for a very, very difficult lockout. So no lift on the third for the Portuguese.
Now for our final deadlift of this first flight before we move through to the A flight following. We didn't see Nino come out for a second or third squat or bench, so looking to perhaps conserve energy for these final pulls. 222.5 kilos, trying to give herself as much of an opportunity as she can to potentially podium in the deadlifts, of course, without the foresight to know what the A group are going to be doing in about a minute's time. That's a pretty easy fight. Oh! Unfortunately, loses grip at the top there, just as I was perhaps too quickly saying it was a pretty easy final pull.
You jinxed her. That didn't happen so much during this competition, I must say. We haven't brought the commentator's curse onto anybody yet. So.
And that concludes the deadlifts in that first round. Nino from Georgia still leading the pack with 217.5, but I don't think quite enough at all to podium on the deadlifts. As we head through now to the A group, you can see Comfort and Anna leading the B group with 475, and now to follow the A group, and it will be quite the battle, I'm sure. Mina Holmfjord from Norway, 180 kilos.
Three white lights and a good lift for Holmfjord.
3 white lights for Holmfjord, she's on the board. First step, secure the total. Second step, battle for position.
Bars loaded at 195 kilos for Ellie Svensson, Sweden.
Elena Svensson from Sweden, opening on 195 kilos.
First step is done, the total is secured for Elina Svensson from Sweden.
Alison O'Reilly, Ireland, Konradsdottir Irawo. Get ready, bar is reloaded. 195 kilos for O'Reilly, Ireland.
Ali O'Reilly from Ireland, 195 kilos. On prognosis in silver, just 5 kilos behind Verao. Squat gold, bench silver.
This one will give us a hint as to what's to expect in the battle for the title. Looking strong!
Wow, that is a lovely opener. Of course, Team Ireland don't have the advantage of pulling last, so they cannot see and fight in the deadlifts really. Team GB can see what Ireland have done and are able to match it or surpass it if they need to.
Yeah, she's trailing by 5 kilos. She doesn't have body weight, but she's looking strong.
Yeah, I think if Team GB, all they need to do is match Ireland and they can follow suit and watch what jumps they make, then as long as they make the attempts, they're in a good position. 200 kilos for Kristin Þórsdóttir from Iceland. Fighting for that bronze medal.
Also looking really good. 3 white lights, a good lift. 3 more totals to secure before a great battle for positions.
Loaded 205 kilos for Irawo, Great Britain.
Now we have Melina Iraro from Great Britain, 205 kilos, currently in the lead overall. And lighter than O'Reilly. And there's that snappy lockout I was talking about.
Yeah, I think she changed belts for deadlifts.
Yeah, you do see a few lifters do that. They just have a preference.
Loaded 205 kilos, Katja Jorgensen, Denmark.
Usually in the squat, athletes like a thicker and more rigid belt than in the deadlift events.
205 kilos for Katja Jorgensen from Denmark.
Everyone's looking good so far.
Good leg for Jorgensen, 210 on the bar for Anna Hieronymus of Germany. Holtjord, Svensson, get ready.
And now to our heaviest opener of the flight in Anna Hieronymus from Germany. Lost a fair amount of kilos on that squat and it hurt her potentially just too far now off of the podium, but we'll see how the 210 moves. Can't really count the biggest deadlifter of the flight out ever.
Yeah, she has a huge deadlift on her. PB of 225.5. Yeah, I won't count her out of the race for the podium. A big Hail Mary third pull could seal the deal. We'll see. It's going to be a tough ask to try and pursue that position, but
it certainly would be a surprise. I wouldn't say impossible, just difficult. Very,
she'll
very
need
difficult.
someone to miss.
Yeah, and then make a big jump.
Yep.
But again, we have seen weird things like that happen before. We can see how close it is there for podium and for overall as we head into the second round deadlifts. Everybody being secure a total so far.
But yeah, we've seen too many grip problems, cramp up to predict deadlifts. We now just appreciate the spectacle.
Mina Holmfjord from Norway, so quick, we couldn't even say her name. 192.5. Easy.
Very easy indeed.
And it's a very fast-paced round of squat or deadlifts. It's as before, still 7 lifters. Deadlift tends to be the quickest running of all 3.
Bars loaded, 205 kilos for Elinor Svensson,
In these
Sweden.
shorter groups with such fast pace from the spotters, we've seen lifters just not coming out for their second attempt. I'm not so sure I'm expecting this in this flight.
205 kilos for Elinor Svensson from Sweden. 10 kilo jump here. Very interesting setup here, getting our hips ready for that hinge.
Yes, she was just telling to her adductors that they were going to get to work.
3 white lights and a good
And
lift.
3 white lights it is. A good lift.
Certainly worth letting them know.
Absolutely. Especially the adductors.
Bronze in deadlift and provisional overall gold. We are only in the second round. We've got a few lifters to follow, but nonetheless, she's getting up there.
Now we see the fight for gold overall really being pushed around. As we said, O'Reilly with the slight disadvantage of having to pull first, but she set herself up so nicely during squat and bench, getting a gold and silver medal respectively. 207.5 now, getting near her max of 211.5, and this will pull her ahead of Melina for the time being, with Melina still to follow, as well as third and final deadlifts. Already would be a 3.5 kilo total PB on her second, should she make this, and her opener was very snappy.
Great second attempt for Ali O'Reilly.
And she is in a really good position.
2:10 on the bar for Kristin Bornhalsdottir of Iceland. Irao, Jorgensen, Euronymous, get ready.
Kristin Thorsdottir from Iceland, 210 kilos, currently sat in bronze overall, will be fighting Jorgensen from Denmark for that position, it seems. And this will pull her into deadlift bronze for the time being, still with Arawa, Jorgensen and Irenemos to follow with their second attempts.
Three white lights and a good lift.
White lights for Bornhalsdottir. 2:15 on the bar. Melina Irao, Great Britain. This is for provisional deadlift silver and overall gold. But they're ahead of O'Reilly.
Melina Arawa from Great Britain, 215 kilos. Pulls her into deadlift silver for the time being. More importantly, heading into the third round of deadlifts, back in front of O'Reilly from Ireland. It's been neck and neck between these two the entire competition. Wow, so much more left in the tank.
Yeah, proper second attempt.
Yeah, and I think she'll be able to put on the bar what she needs for her third. It looks like Ireland have put in a placeholder of 225 for their third to see perhaps where they need to play around and potentially push for a Hail Mary if the silver is secured.
The thing is, we know that Melina Irao will get the last saying. She'll pull after Ali O'Reilly.
Katja Jorgensen from Denmark, 220 kilos, pulls her into bronze overall and back into deadlift gold with Irenemos to follow. Going back and forth with Thorsdottir.
Yeah, she'll be the first lifter to surpass Cherkishvili from the B group. And she does, so 3 white lights, a good lift. Provisional deadlift gold.
Yeah, looking at these third attempts that started to pop up, I think the Georgian lifter from the B group would have needed a significant amount more for a deadlift medal. 222.5, still a fantastic attempt.
Yeah, she would have needed one of the members of the top 4 to miss in order to climb onto the podium.
And we still have the third rounds to go. But first, Anna Irenemos from Germany, 222.5, 3 kilos below her personal best, pulls her into deadlift gold. And if anyone above her does miss, and this deadlift moves well, like we said, she could be in a position to put a Hail Mary on the bar.
Three white lights, but it's going to be a tough ask to try and reach for the podium.
Yeah.
Of Norway, coming out for 200 kilos now. Svensson, Bornhalsdottir, O'Reilly, Irao, Jorgensen, and Euronymous.
We have all the round of deadlifts to go, and what a round it will be.
We've got 2 people at the same total. Irao is lighter than O'Reilly. So O'Reilly is going to have to go
And we
higher.
go into our final round of deadlifts, and it is so close at the top. On prognosis, both Jorgensen and Thorsdottir are matched should they get their last deadlift, as well as Araro and O'Reilly. It is a big battle here in the 84s. Mina Homfjord out first, 200 kilos.
Manages to pull it. 3 white lights, and that gives her a 12.5 kilo total.
And yeah, with her getting that successful, every lifter in this flight with a 200 kilo and above deadlift.
Impressive.
And we've had an attempt change come in. I'm trying to keep my eye on which of the 6 lifters that is coming from as we look at the board. And then we've seen it both from Iceland and from Sweden.
We've had 3 changes at the same time, so that's taken a little while.
3 changes at the same time.
This is where we see a lot of strategy come in, is during the last deadlift. It's the only lift you can change your attempt for, and you can do it twice. Ali O'Reilly dropped to 212.5. She's looking just to beat Melina's total if Melina misses that last pull, but I imagine then Team GB will look to drop to just what they need. Although 230, which they have on the bar now, isn't a huge ask considering how it's been moving.
But 212.5 doesn't seem to be too big of an ask for Ali O'Reilly either.
Absolutely not. Ali O'Reilly has been on fire today. You know, she's come back from a shoulder injury and she's been looking so strong. 212.5 for her last pull. It'll be a 1 kilo personal best on deadlift and a new total PB as well, landing her on 552.5.
Coming back from injury, that's a strong outing from Ali O'Reilly.
Yeah, and this was the only number that really made sense. I have no reason to believe that she can't get this.
Absolutely not. Let's see it.
And there it is. Can she hold on to it? Oh, that is such a shame, but what a phenomenal day from Ali.
You hate to see that. Grip issues right at lockout after giving your all for her last deadlift. Heartbreaking. So I think the title is pretty much secured for Melina Iraogo.
Yes, there's absolutely no one really, unless we see the Hail Mary of a lifetime from Jorgensen, that can really catch her, but I imagine the best she could do is chase O'Reilly for silver, and I think what she'd rather do is secure a medal overall. So Kristen Thorselsdottir now, who looks to secure that bronze medal ahead of Jorgensen. 215 kilos to pull into 3rd overall. And manages to lock it out.
Pretty smooth 3rd. 3 white lights, a good lift. And that gives her 527.5.
Will not change her position in deadlift, will not change her position in total. In deadlift 4th, in total leading.
And as expected,
yeah,
change as came in.
So she's just on 2.5 kilos. You know, the 215 was very easy, and there's not a world that I can imagine this being a difficult final attempt. Just needs to keep her head screwed on, but your new European champion in Melina Iraogo of Great Britain, attempting 217.5 for her final attempt. This will give her a 542.5 total. And an easy end to the day. She kept in her own lane and is rewarded for it. 3 white lights, a good lift, and your new European champion, Melina Iraogo of Great Britain.
She had a great day, did what she had to do in each and every lift. And even though she missed one of her last squat, she walks away European champion.
Yeah, it would have been a few times we've heard the British anthem this week. They've been doing very well. Elena Svensson from Sweden, 220 kilos, a 15 kilo jump from her second, and this is to pull herself into deadlift bronze is what she's chasing here. 2 kilos above her best ever deadlift. Took a 10 kilo jump from 1st to 2nd, and now a 15 kilo jump from 2nd to 3rd.
Oh, this one will stay stuck to the ground.
Not today,
No
I'm afraid,
lifts.
Ellie,
Not today for the Swedish.
2:25 on the bar for Katja Jorgensen. Right, so this is to move her
Now
on
that
in
you've
deadlift
mentioned
from
it,
silver to
I'm
gold,
really looking forward to seeing which team wins it all for the
Yes.
women's.
We won't have to wait too long. We only have
You say
one more session this afternoon in the 84 plus and 120 plus.
Tipping you off there.
I think GB might take it.
It certainly seems possible.
I think it's either
Bars
GB
loaded,
or
225
France.
kilos, Katja
Yeah, often we see
Jorgensen
France and
of
GB
Denmark
battle it out
for
at
the
Euros.
original deadlift gold. Konsa.
Katja Jorgensen from Denmark now for a final pull. 225 kilos pulls her not only into deadlift gold with Irenamos to follow, but into bronze overall ahead of Thorselsdottir on body weight.
Sounds very doable, judging by her second, but the grip needs to hold on. She needs to pull through.
And she manages to hold on to it. A great day out for Jorgensen, a good lift, 3 white lights, and ends up in bronze medal position ahead of Thorselsdottir. I said that body weight was going to come into play, and it did.
Especially after missing a squat. Can only tip your hat to the Danish for adjusting and managing a podium finish.
And we've seen an attempt change come in from Irenamos. 227.5, I think, dropped down from 230. Doesn't need any more than that to get deadlift gold. Already has silver secured, but I think as she ended up off of the podium, where she was expecting to fight for, she wants to at least walk away with that gold if possible.
Yeah, that will give her gold in the deadlift event, a new German record, and a 520 kilo total, which makes for a 2 kilo PB.
Yeah, and I imagine to be a German total record as well in the 84s.
Bar is loaded. 227.5 kilos for Anna Hieronymus of Deutschland.
Anna Hieronymus from Germany, 227.5 kilos to pull herself into deadlift gold, one final pearl of the day.
One final strong pull for gold.
Oh, and she fights it up. She gets the down command. Oh, and unfortunately 2-1, a no lift. Coach goes to the jury as they review the lockout, which is what the Reds were for.
I think that wide shoulder is worrying for her. This is what she got called for, but the replay isn't so bad.
No, I was surprised to see the lockout, but I think you're right. The shoulders just weren't quite there, and it started slipping a bit, but she still walks away with the silver. We get Nino, actually, in the end, did walk away with the bronze medal in deadlift with 217.5, as Araro didn't need to pull much more than that to win. Irenamos in silver and Jorgensen in deadlift gold with 225. And overall, after an exciting battle, we have Jorgensen in bronze with 527.5 kilos ahead of Thorselsdottir on body weight. In silver overall with 537.5, Ali O'Reilly from Ireland put up a great fight, but your European champion 2025 in the 84 kilo class is Melina Araro of Great Britain with 542.5. We're going to head to the medal ceremony now for the 84 kilo ladies, and join us at 2 p.m. local time for the 84 plus and the 120 plus to round up an amazing championships. We'll see you then.
third place with 202.5 and 84 kilos body weight, Kristin Rojas of Iceland. In second place at the same squat, 202.5 but a 40 kilo lighter, Elinor Svensson of Sweden. And our squat winner, also with 202.5 and another half kilo lighter, Alison O'Reilly of Ireland. Round of applause for our squat podiums. Ladies, moving into bench press in bronze medal position with 120 kilos, Dina Holmfjord of Norway. In silver position with 127.5, Alison O'Reilly of Ireland. In gold medal position with 130 kilos lifted, Melina Iravo of Great Britain. Another round of applause for our benchers, podium holders. Thank you once again. And to our deadlift. In bronze position from the B group, Nina Chikishvili of Georgia. 217.5. In second place with 222.5, Anna Hieronymus of Germany. And with 225 kilos lifted, Katja Jorgensen of Denmark. Another round of applause, please. Thank you, ladies. And now for the title of the champion for our overall podium. In third position for the bronze medal, Katja Jorgensen with 527.5 from Denmark. In silver position with 537.5, Alison O'Reilly for